Ready? Very good. Well, this meeting to order this 5:30 p.m. This is the agenda of the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the RGC-4B EDC. Today's Wednesday, July 19th, and again it is 5:30 p.m. At this time, I'll ask Mayor Villarreal for the invocation, and I'll ask Commissioner Escobedo for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, please lay your hand upon our EDC board. Provide us with the wisdom, the courage, and the will to do what is right and just for the betterment of Rio Grande City. In your precious name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state of God, one indivisible.
Thank you, gentlemen. Item 2, roll call, final number 4. Ms. Solis.
Mr. Ramirez.
Present.
Ms. Perez.
Present.
Dr. Margo. Absent. Mr. Escobedo.
Present.
Mr. Villarreal.
Present.
Ms. Flores. She's absent. And Mr. Dalia.
Present.
We have quorum.
Very good. Item 3, public forum. Anybody sign up at this, Ms. Solis?
Nobody signed up.
Okay. With that in mind, we'll move to item 4 on the agenda, approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Give you guys a minute or two to look over those minutes, and I'll entertain a motion when somebody's ready.
I move to approve item 4.
I second.
Got a motion, a second. Any discussion? If not, everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Okay, motion passes. Item 5, financial report, Ms. Guillen.
Yes, in your packet you have the expenditure report as of July, well, it's through today, and it also contains your sales tax reports, and given that we're close to the end of the fiscal year, we've done fairly well. Everything as far as sales tax revenue goes has been exceeding the expectations that we've had for this year. Right now, year to date, our sales tax is at 8.97%, above last year, so we are doing really well, sir.
Okay, very good. So we continue growing and continue to improve on our sales tax. That's always a blessing. It's always good news. Any comments or questions this time for Ms. Guillen? If not, moving on to the next item on the agenda. Item 6, Main Street Advisory Board update. Ms. Guillen?
Yes. We do have an update for our board from our Main Street Advisory Board, and we do have a representative of the advisory board here with us today. Myra Gracia will give us a quick update on the activities and her input on what we've been doing as a Main Street over the last 2 months.
Ms. Gracia, welcome.
Hello, everybody. First, I want to thank those of you that we've seen showing up to the market days. I think I've seen everybody there, so thank you all for supporting. Our main issue right now has been market days. So we started, well, Yandere came aboard, and she has been working very hard on it, and she has made it grow. She's doing an excellent job. So in May, we had so in May we moved it to Britain Avenue, which we believe is the best decision we could have made, because it wasn't between the streets, and I kind of think, or we think that it kind of disappeared, it wasn't too visible, but now people are passing by and they're seeing. So in May, we had a total of 33 vendors. That number grew in June to 38. And this one in July was awesome. There was 58 vendors and a lot of people. We did change the time though from the morning, because it was super hot, to the evening, and we added the live music, so that brought the market days to life. We met yesterday, and as we go, we're helping her on, okay, what can we do better, or what can we do to make it better, or what don't we have to do? So we've been working on that, and so I believe until we get it right, we'll be doing changes, working on changes, and I believe it will keep growing. So the live music, of course, was the #1. We are considering, and I guess this is something that we would have to ask, is now closing both streets on each side of Britain Avenue, because this last time they were kind of crowded, the booths were kind of crowded. We want to leave a space so people can bring lawn chairs and put the picnic tables in front of the music so they can come, sit, and enjoy. Because at this point, they're coming, they're grabbing their food, their items, and they're probably leaving. So we want them to stick around. We want them to have something to do. So we will be, or Yandere will be following up on that. And traffic control, we might be needing more traffic control because it is growing. They did bring up a wheelchair access ramp, and we thought we had one, but it's only to cross the sidewalk. It's not to go up to the kiosco. It doesn't, so there might have to be some sort of adjustment there. Yandere will follow up on that. And like I said, she's doing a great job, and we believe it's going to continue to grow. The community is coming out. That's what we want, things for the community to do. And so far, so good. It's getting better and better. We're excited to see. Every time we go, we're just more and more excited. We cannot thank Yandere enough. Like I said, she's doing all the legwork. You know, we give her ideas, and, you know, she applies them. So, you know, good job, Yandere. And as far as like the wheelchair access, I guess that's something we'll be discussing further, the closing of the streets and the wheelchair access. And on our next meeting, we'll be discussing other pending items that we might have left off during the transition, and we'll be bringing those up to you guys on the next one.
Very good, excellent. Congratulations on all the hard work and again, on making this market days grow.
Yes.
I know a couple of months back we discussed it, how we need to do something to bring it back to life, and moving it to Britain, I think was a great idea. That was the first thing we needed to do, and then now, of course, you guys do your hard work and growing and vendors and all that. Now, doing it in the evenings also a great idea, because I know that the heat was extremely uncomfortable during the day, but even in the evening, I think you guys had it from 7 to 10 this past time, or 7,
6 to 10.
I mean, it's still extremely hot, but I think
It was
people
still hot till
enjoyed
about
it.
7. But the people were coming out in the evening, and like I said, the live music did.
Have you all heard any maybe suggestions from the vendors themselves to
We
see how we
have.
can make it better?
We have, so they wanted to be giving us their ideas that day, and that's kind of hard. So we have discussed either having a meeting for them, inviting them, because a lot of these vendors do go to other markets, and you should do this, and we do that
Right.
over here. So we're either gonna have a meeting, or we're considering some sort of QR code that they can scan, give us their advice, their
Right.
reviews.
Suggestions.
That's a great idea.
Suggestions, yes.
That's what somebody suggested, the QR code yesterday. But we will be in contact. We want to get them involved, hear from them. They do have a lot to say, and so we do want to listen to them, and you know, what better than them? They're the ones,
Right.
you know, doing that.
Exactly.
All the stuff. So.
Several people actually came to us, and they offered their recommendations there. And one of them was actually wanted to have it till 12 midnight. And others wanted, right? Till 12 midnight. One of them, which I agree, we need to close both streets. I mean, it's a good problem to have in the sense that it's now grown so much that it's good to consider, okay, let's expand it further, which is great. So congratulations to both of you, and to Main Street Board, and to everyone who's part of this, because we have seen the growth in such a short period of time. So what you're doing is really working. You know, so congratulations. And now what we can do is, like I said, maybe look at times, go up till 11, or I don't know, but the lighting for sure, and definitely we can have more staff there too.
On the lighting, we were suggesting for them to maybe bring in their own lamps and
Do
provide
we
their-
have any of those, Chief? Do we have any of the lights,
Generators?
generator lights that we can just put them? No?
We usually buy our one here. We're looking at purchasing some of them.
I think we should purchase some, not just for this event, but for us to have in other situations or emergencies or whatnot, but.
Especially we want to move them, so our discussion yesterday was moving all the booths to the street,
Yes.
closing the streets, moving them to the booths, and then putting the picnic tables on the Burton Avenue in front of the kiosco, and then putting a little place for the lawn chair. So we want that so people can sit and eat and enjoy, and then they can walk the booths to the side. But there is no lighting on the street. There's lighting on Britain itself, but there's none. So our suggestion was to let them know for now, until we figure something out, they can bring their own lighting.
One of these
And
days,
they-
go ahead.
They, you know, they're accustomed to that. I think that there's a lot of solar type of lighting or battery operated.
They bring their
lighting
fans and
For
Yeah.
underneath the tent, because the light structures that we're talking about, those can bring light over the area, but still underneath the tent, it'll still be dark. And so in order for them to showcase what they're selling, they need to really
Additional lighting, yes.
consider some portable lighting that they can bring in, and I know we've had to do that for our events downtown as well. So that's gonna be part of the discussion at the meeting with the vendors, and of course, we're gonna let everybody know to be prepared with portable lighting.
One of these days, we'll have a special concert, and we can ask great band, Solido, maybe, offer some.
it crossed my mind that
Hey, even
They're
if it's a few
busy.
songs, just as a guest.
So I will add, because I was at the meeting yesterday, that we want to encourage local talent to come out and perform, and so we're gonna put out a call for local artists to come forward and be part of the event, so.
we think that's what brought it to life this last time, because we did a DJ the first time, then we're like, okay, we'll just plug in the speaker, but it was just the speaker, and this time we had DJ and live music, and the live music does
Make a difference.
make a
difference.
huge
I agree.
difference, so we need to stick to that, to the live music.
You know, another thing, first of all, I want to commend both of you and the whole Main Street. I think one of the things that we should work on is also maybe having all the food vendors in one section, just to make sure that they're all together so people can go buy whatever they want. Some of them were all over, but it was great. I was there, I enjoyed it, we had fun, and it was nice to see the whole community out.
That's a
Yes.
good idea. I mean, to put all
Like
the
I said,
food
we're
vendors
working
in
on
one
the
section,
little,
and then
we're working on, crossing the Ts, dotting the Is, so another thing is measuring, because we had a lot of wasted space, so we're gonna have to measure, and we are planning to have the check-in booth. At that point, we will guide them where they're gonna go.
Perfect.
We need to have that, but, Yanderi's new, a lot of us are to this, and we're learning as we go and figuring it out as we go.
But you're doing a great job, and it's evolving, and that's what's important.
Yes, that's the best part. As far as what we have pending, I'm sure we will do great or even better.
Definitely.
With the holidays coming and little projects we have for the holidays. I think we're just gonna do a great job with everything. The Main Street Advisory Board is great, with discussions and planning and suggesting, and like I said, we give her all the ideas, and she makes everything come together,
life.
so.
And
then it was-
overall,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
A little section for they can dance.
We were thinking about food, we wanna eat.
Hey, where's the
but okay.
dance floor? I know we heard that too.
I'll take an extra pill. Nothing will hurt.
No, but again, I commend you all. Excellent job. And I know that you're taking the recommendations and then implementing them. So again, those are great implementations, and it's getting better and better every time.
Yes.
So I definitely anticipate you all implementing some of these other recommendations and just make it a full-out event. And a lot of the vendors, I did speak to many of them, and they were, just the idea that they're there free of charge. I mean, here it is. Here's the venue. Come on out, and they certainly appreciate that. So absolutely, we can continue that. Let's make sure we do that. And from our end, as far as by all means, we're definitely supporting that. So both of
Yes,
you
we
and
see
to all
that. Thank
staff.
you all very much, and like I said, for showing up and helping us out as well. So we appreciate you guys too.
Our pleasure.
Jim, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Like to share any, Ms. Yanderi?
Excuse me?
Would you like to share anything on that?
Just, I would like to thank you all too. Thank you for the support, and how she said we are learning and picking up, but I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, item 7, presentation by TxDOT. I believe Mr. Frank Cantu is here. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon to all. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to allow me to be here. I appreciate the invitation. My name is Francisco Cantu, Frank, as y'all said, for short. Basically, my role is being the area engineer for TxDOT, and it's not only Stark County, but also neighboring rural counties. And so that includes Rio Grande City, right? So that's why I'm here today. And the purpose of the presentation is to update you on projects that are coming up. And so there's a lot of very good news that we have to share with you. So I think this is a very opportune time to share it. And so that's really the goal of me being here. I do not have a PowerPoint. I talked to Ms. Guillen, I said maybe next time I should have some sort of visual for you. So I'm not going to be saying some different roads and different numbers. So please stop me through the process if y'all have any questions, okay? And so obviously the first project that I want to talk about is the main project everyone was wondering about, and which is State Loop 195, right? And so State Loop 195 is one of our major projects that we have. It's about more than 17 miles long. And so that project is broken in 3 phases. And so phase 1 is the one that pertains to Rio Grande City. That one starts at 755, the realignment that we have, and it goes to 3167, which is the hospital road, right? So that's about a little bit more than 4 miles, and the cost is about 67 million approximately. And so,
what would that
yes.
road end up from 75 to 3167? Airport area, more or less?
Yes, that's correct. So it's going to be a little bit to the south of the airport.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit to the south. And so that's something in the design, we had to make sure that we had the clearance. So yeah, but approximately south of the airport.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that one is scheduled to be let or out to award to a contractor in August of 2025. So that's 2 years, about 2 years from now. So it's coming up really fast, right? In TxDOT's timeline, that's around the corner, right? So basically 2 years away. And so we anticipate that to happen fairly soon, right? And so that's why we're coming here to let you know about that. The right-of-way or the properties, that will be cleared next summer. So that's a major achievement because that could stop the project, right? And so we got the properties by next summer, and then a year after that, then we start the construction, okay? In fact, let me clarify that the properties or the right-of-way will be for the entire loop by next summer. So that's good, right? Because that means we can continue that. And I do want to praise and thank, obviously, our elected officials and mention Mr. Alvarez as well, our district engineer, right? Because behind the scenes, they've been working to get the funding to start the loop, right?
Right,
So,
correct.
so they had a big role on that. And so now it's happening, right? Any questions on that phase 1 of the loop?
It's going to be a 4-lane. How's that road going to be divided? With
It's
a
a
median?
divided highway. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry that I didn't mention that. Yeah, divided highway with a grass median.
Okay.
Yes. So 300 feet of right of way. So we'll have space to, in the future, hopefully even put main lanes, frontages.
Is
Make
it going to be lighting as well or no lighting at this time?
lighting.
Lighting. Lights.
Lighting, there should be at the intersections, for sure, the major intersections. In between, I don't anticipate right now.
Okay.
Unless there's a safety concern, then we'll add lighting. Yes.
And shoulders on both ways, right?
Yes, exactly.
Both sides and both sides.
Yeah, so divided highway and crossovers in the middle for now.
I was in a hearing on Monday for one of the condemnation for the right-of-ways. So
Oh,
they went through all of the 10 feet here, 4 feet here.
Yes,
It was
yes.
very interesting.
That's good. So you know all of the details, right? A lot of the
I
details.
learned a lot on
Yeah,
Monday.
that's good, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Any other questions on that first phase?
And you said the first phase is 67 million?
67 million.
Million.
Yeah, so the entire loop is about 200 million.
Right, but that phase is 67.
67, and you know, it's only 4 miles, but the thing about that is that it's a lot of bridges because of the arroyos.
Yeah.
And bridge concrete costs a lot, so that's why.
Then the next one's 3167?
Yes, so phase 2 it is from 3167 to 649. So it's about 5 miles, 64 million. And it actually lets January 2026. So that's about half a year after the first one. So that means that concurrently we'll have construction on both. So that's great news, right? We're gonna have both going on in 2.5 years from now. We're all gonna see that equipment and start seeing it come alive, right? and we'll be driving it eventually, right? And then phase 3, it goes from
Can we
31
back up a little bit and kind of
Yes.
explain where it goes through?
Okay, that's a good
Or you
question.
can't
on
you can't
where it goes
disclose
through
that
on
yet.
649?
Yes, kind of where it ends up, where it starts and where it ends up, from airport to more or less.
Yeah, so from south of the airport, it's a straight shot, and I know that doesn't give you too many details, but
More or less.
I honestly do not have a location in 649 to pinpoint right now. I'm not too familiar with what's around there because there's not too much to point to. But it's a straight shot if you draw it on the map.
Okay.
And if you want specific details, I can share with you. We
That's
have,
fine, I just,
Yeah, y'all share a map with us when you get a
We can
chance. If you
share-
send it
yeah.
to Dalinda, she can share it.
I'll share it to you, Linda, yes.
Because I know they have all that, and like he said, they already started the entire condemnation proceeding, so all the landowners know. But it'd be
Yeah.
very interesting to
Yes.
see the actual
yes, I
map.
agree. And I'll send that out, including a Google Earth KMZ that you open on your computer.
yeah, the reason I asked is because again, the growth is gonna happen because of that. The homes, businesses and gas stations and who knows what else. I mean, it's gonna be growth
Yes.
because of this development, or
Yes,
this
exactly.
project.
Exactly, I agree. Mhm.
I was trying to pull up my map.
The last phase, phase 3, it's the longest phase. And so that one is about 8 miles long. So it's the longest part because it's going to go out to end up in the Loma Blanca area over there north of Roma. And so 8 miles, 80 million because it's longer. And the anticipated letting date is January 2028. So that is 2 years after second phase. Again, so very, very, very good timing. 4.5 years from now, all 3 phases going on.
So it appears that we are going to see it in our lifetime.
Yes.
There for the longest time, it seemed like not maybe a
Yep.
certain phase, but based on what you're describing, we are going to see it in our lifetime.
Yes.
God willing, right?
Yes, God willing.
All right.
And the timelines have advanced too, so that's really
Yes.
good news.
When we first started talking about this years ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is that there will not be any stops on this, that this will be an expressway. Once you get on it, you can get to Port Isabel, was my understanding, without a stop.
That's correct.
Is that still the plan?
That's still the plan.
No lights, nothing. It is a true expressway.
We are going to build overpasses on those intersections of 3167 and 649, so that you can go over
Yep.
that. Yes.
I'm gonna hop on it and get to the island.
Yes, now, yeah,
That's the project that's gonna go out east, and we talked about that at the meeting earlier today.
there's the extension, State
Yeah,
Loop
how it'll
95
connect
extension.
out
Extension, yes.
to La Jolla.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so yeah, it's coming, and you all see this La Jolla Loop, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So we see the product, it's gonna happen. It's gonna.
Just don't let them start talking you into lights. Make it an expressway
Yeah,
all the
no
way.
lights, yeah. I am gonna talk about lights in a little bit though.
Okay.
For other areas, not there, okay.
Yes.
All right, so any other questions on the State Loop 195?
Well, I think this is really great news for this first phase that we've been anticipating for a while now, and just to know that it's moved on faster than expected is great, and that it's fully funded is awesome news.
Yes,
That
I
was,
agree.
that was what was holding us back.
Exactly, exactly. It's always the money, right? The money's the big thing too.
200 million.
All right, so I do have other projects I want to touch on briefly, not as major, but still important. And that is the FM 755 passing lanes, or we call it Super 2 in Texas, right? And so those passing lanes are going to be from 1017, so San Isidro, close to San Isidro, down to 2294. So 11 miles, and the cost is $33 million, and that's coming next summer, July 2024 already. So July 2024, we'll be starting there, and we'll have those passing lanes. So remember that route is a hurricane route, evacuation route, right? And so it's important to have that extra mobility, right? Not be stuck behind a vehicle, and of course safety is a big thing there. We don't want anyone passing there on curbs or anything like that.
How are y'all gonna set that up? I've seen some places where it's like 2 miles that you can pass this way, and then 2 miles that you can pass this way.
Yes, that's a very good question. We do that, but sometimes we also have where we have 4 at a time.
Good.
I don't have those details,
Okay.
however, but it's gonna be either or.
There will be something in there.
Something.
Do y'all know what I mean?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
see them on Highway 16
Yeah,
going towards San
Yes.
Antonio,
Yeah.
for those
There you
passing
go.
lanes, which
Yeah.
is very convenient when you're stuck behind a
Right.
truck or
Yes.
Forever,
Yeah.
the whole way to San Isidro.
Yeah, or 285, also Falfurrias to Rivera, I think.
To Rivera.
Yeah, and so there we have both scenarios. We have where it's 4 lanes, and then we have where it's the alternating as well.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's coming up, and obviously, I'm not gonna go into the details of the other phase, but we have a full plan for 755, where we wanna do that for the whole thing. But I'm just talking about what's coming sooner, right?
Right.
Not
That's
go
really
too
good
far.
news for
Yeah.
755, especially as it takes our traffic, not only, you know, you have commercial traffic also that goes up, and those are the trucks we talk about. And so
Yes.
this is really good news.
Yes, exactly, I agree. All right, any questions about that project? Okay, and the other projects I want to touch on a little bit is related to traffic signals. So we have a couple of traffic signal projects, so I said I was going to talk about that. We do have there at Flores, right now where the realignment and the old 1055 is, right? So at the end of this year, we're gonna place a signal due to the traffic there, safety as well, the visibility, okay? We also have it at Hernandez Road, so near 3167 where the curve is at, there's been some fatalities, accidents, and so the studies show we need a signal there.
On the signal, you're saying it's gonna be a stop, like a
Red light.
Traffic signal.
Traffic signal.
Yes, traffic signals,
Okay.
yes.
That's coming when, sir?
That's, by the end of this year, we will be starting on the construction.
Traffic is really bad there with the school district.
Yeah, when school's in
The
session, yeah,
The left
it's-
turn.
It gets really bad.
that turn is always
very dangerous.
lengthy.
Yes.
Yes, so that's why we're taking those steps.
Hernandez and 3167. Which is Hernandez and 3167? I can't get my map.
Well,
together.
No,
Hernandez
it's Hernandez and
is-
83.
Yeah, 83. Hernandez, where Chuy Alvarez office property, that's Hernandez Road, no?
To the west of 3167.
The old Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
The old
Okay.
truck supply. Yeah.
Oh, it's on 83.
Yes.
83.
Yeah.
That one's gonna be in Flores and 755 loop.
Yes.
So you're gonna have a light at Alvarez, and then you're gonna have a light at Hernandez?
And we're gonna have one in Suntex as well, unfortunately.
You know, we just talked about that
Yeah.
earlier, how there are, I don't know how many lights
know.
between Laredo and
I
McAllen.
drive there every day, so I'm
That
gonna,
loop
And
can't
State,
work fast
State
enough.
Loop 195,
Yeah.
right?
but
Yes,
we're
go to
getting the loop.
No lights on the loop.
No, no,
Put
that's
all
right.
of them here,
So-
and we can hit the loop if we
So
don't want
to
the
make up
lights.
for it, I started with the loop,
Okay.
but now we got that in 83 slowing us down, okay, so
It's for
we're offsetting.
safety.
Yeah, for
Yes.
safety.
At the end, it's for safety, I understand, yeah, we all wanna get there faster, but safety is priority, right?
Right.
Okay, and so that's coming up, and we also have illumination there from on US 83, 3167 to the east where we have the curve, where we see a lot of border patrols and that area.
Oh, yes,
So we're gonna add illumination there also, coming up very soon.
as you're
So-
getting to Hospital Road.
Yeah. Yes, and so all that curve, we're gonna put illumination to make it safer
Along 83?
along
Where
83.
where all the law enforcement
Yeah.
parks. I know
Okay.
exactly what you're talking about.
So that's a little bit on the traffic, safety. Then we obviously have, just the last ones I want to talk about that are scheduled to be let is the Camargo Bridge south of FM 755, which is a local government project that I know y'all are working on as well. That is scheduled to let in September 2025, so about 2 years from now, if everything works well. That's to the south of FM 755 to connect to Camargo Bridge, right? It's also here. And lastly, just preventive maintenance. We will continue to seal coat, lay that rock with the asphalt, and we're gonna overlay US 83, like we started in Roma. We're gonna overlay it 83 to make sure we have a nice pavement, right, that can last.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just passed the Roma a couple weeks ago and it's super nice, yeah, nice and
Yeah,
brand new.
so we're doing it in phases, US 83. We're coming this way from Roma based on our assessment, but we're gonna eventually get here to Rio, all the way to San Benito Street. So,
Very good.
so that's coming up. And
The International Boulevard, what's gonna be as far as the capacity or type of pavement regarding managing heavy traffic through there?
South-
Especially with vibrations to the houses adjacent to that street. What kind of, or are you going to do anything different there to sustain all that traffic that's going to be going through there?
And that's South 75, right? The one you're
Right.
mentioning?
Right there by Walmart, that whole area.
It definitely has to hold up the traffic that it's gonna have, right? So at this point, I'm not sure there will be concrete pavement, which might be better to minimize the vibrations and just make a stronger pavement. But I don't have the details about that yet. But that's a good point. It is very close to those.
It is, so it's going to be critical to make sure that we minimize the impact of any I know there will be, but how do we minimize any effect towards the houses? Right. So something to consider,
Yes.
or any type of barrier or fence line that covers that, any type of noise. And
Yeah.
again, I don't know if that's even possible, but something to consider as
Yes.
we're looking at that, because
All
I'm
that
sure
will be-
we're going to have some
Major issue.
right, those are going to be major issues. Even though right now it seems that, in fact, I was talking to somebody that right now it's being utilized, the alleyway, well, it's not an alleyway, it's really a street there, that's being utilized by heavy trucks, and we'll visit that in the future with City Commission, but on this one, something to consider for sure, Frank, is making sure that what do we do to accommodate the heavy traffic, sustain heavy traffic that will be going through there?
Yes, I agree. And it'll be looked at as part of the environmental phase.
Okay.
That's considered. And we have the La Jolla project, because I was there before, that was the project I was in, the sound wall, we had to install that. So that's an example you're mentioning.
Yes.
Yes. Very good point. I'll make note of that also to make sure we see that.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, and those are all the projects I wanted to talk about. I have more details offline or another time we can share as well, but are there any comments, questions?
One last thing on State Loop 195, I know you mentioned 755, the interchange from there, but in the future, what will be the interchange from there to 83, or is it going to go through San Isidro, or what's the vision there?
So, and that's what Dalina mentioned earlier, that we have in our long-range plan an extension, it's called State Loop 195 extension, that will connect to the Hidalgo County Loop.
Okay, but not 83, it'll connect.
Not 83.
Okay.
Although there has been, I was at the Star County Commissioners Court, and they brought that up, and there's conversations. I'm hearing more and more about the need of going back to 83. And so there's a potential, I'm not guaranteeing it, but
Right.
do a feasibility study again of how to connect 83 to the extension potentially, where someone from Sullivan can come, and I'm from there, so I wasn't saying Sullivan, but you go up and then you go on this extension, right? So I think it's a legitimate concern or legitimate point there, so.
And during an earlier, I was at a TechStop workshop today, and we talked about the need of having a parallel roadway that goes east and west. And so that State Loop 195, well, it starts right here off 755, that extension is expected to connect to that Hidalgo County Loop and provide us that parallel pathway to the valley. We talked about, the need not only for just, the convenience of driving to and from, but the fact that we have, the hurricane route, we need to be prepared for emergencies and provide those alternative routes.
Yep.
And so that's one of those things that we discussed, we need to make sure that is included in those plans for TxDOT as they're planning, years on end of projects.
Exactly, and that's being done across the valley. We will have that route all the way to the second causeway of the island. So whoever made that comment earlier about going straight to the beach, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true, so
But we're gonna start this first.
we gotta
going
start
west.
something.
Yeah,
Start something, right?
Yes.
Rather than nothing, so,
thank you.
yeah, thank you.
I'm just glad that we're going to see State Loop 195 in our lifetime here. That's, because there was speculation that
Yeah.
we wouldn't, right? But great, congratulations to you and to your staff and to everyone that's part of this.
Yeah.
I know the MPO has a lot to do with that as well, the RGV MPO and our
Collaborative.
participation with that too is definitely bringing some results.
Yes.
Being part of that, so great, thank you.
Yes, and great for the area, right? So,
Absolutely.
so yes, it's a team,
Absolutely.
collaborative effort, so. All right, well, thank you all for your
Thank you,
attention.
Mr. Cantu, appreciate your time. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 8 on the agenda, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve an extension from Fabi's Embroidery for its facade grant construction. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Ramirez, board members, the board approved a Main Street facade grant for Fabi's Embroidery during our meeting back in May. Mr. Jose Luis Diaz, who is not here with us today, he came into our office and he submitted a written request to grant him an extension, given that he's got already the project approved through the planning office. But this time of the year is not a really good one for him. He is busy getting uniforms ready for school, and so this isn't the best time for him to be under construction, or at least the entrance to his business to be under construction. So we're recommending an extension of 90 days so that he can have an ample time to complete his work.
Correct.
I move to approve item 8.
I'll second
A
that.
motion by Member Granados, second by Ms. Perez. Everybody in agreement signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Very good. Item 9, discussion, consideration, possible action authorizing the publishing of a bid notice for the Los Velas Road Street widening improvements. Ms. Guillen?
Yes, we have a project to widen Los Velas Road, and we had we are working with Sims Engineering on that. We've met as staff various times to go over this project, and we're already at the point to put this project out for bids. You do have that notice here. We do have our engineering firm with us to answer questions. There's some cost estimates here as well that are prepared for your review. And there was a discussion earlier about the street widening and a sidewalk off of Los Velas Road on the west side, but given the slope, it wasn't recommended that we take that route because of ADA and other reasons. But we wanted to consider some options there, and so you have some alternates there, one being hydro-mulch and seeding, the other being landscape rock. And then you do have those plans for the project in a separate packet and I don't know if the engineers want to add anything or to give us any or the information you may want to know about the project, but we're ready to go out for bids.
Good afternoon, board. My name is Aldo Garcia with Sims Inc. I'm the project manager for the Los Velas Road Widening Project. I'm just here to answer any questions that you all may have and address any concerns that you may have.
Mr. Garcia, the improvement's gonna go from 83 all the way to the back of that property, or where exactly?
Yes,
does
sir.
it
It'll
end?
extend slightly past the property, so the entire, the full road widening will end there at the property line, and then that's where we'll begin to taper back to the existing pavement.
Okay. I noticed that one of the alternates, of course, one being hydro mulching or hydro seeding.
Yes.
The other being adding some rock. Where would that rock be and how would it be placed or what?
It would be between the back of curb and the new retaining wall for the Los Pinos hardware store.
Okay.
So I believe the concern there that was brought up by the city was maintenance. So we decided to add in these alternates. The hydro mulch and seeding is just your typical grass seeding. And then the landscape rock includes the landscape fabric to kind of mitigate some of that,
Is there gonna be a sidewalk adjacent to that road or?
No,
or
we removed the sidewalk from the scope of work.
It got removed?
Will you explain in?
Sure, yeah. So as Ms. Delinda mentioned, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the area, but there where you turn off of 83 into Los Velas Road, there's a significant drop off there. And so that exceeds the maximum allowable slope for a ramp as per ADA requirements. So if you wanted the sidewalk there, you'd basically have to put a guardrail, build up that area next to that retaining wall, which kind of defeats the purpose of that wall. And being that we looked at the area and there's not a lot of, residences in the area, that might be able to utilize that sidewalk.
Will it have a shoulder or extra space for a bike or somebody maybe that need to maybe walk that area? I don't know.
Yeah, you'll have 5.5 feet.
Okay.
You've got 5.5 feet between the back of curb to the retaining wall.
The material of the street is what?
Asphalt.
Asphalt.
Yes, sir.
That street is also, would you consider that being like for drainage? Does just water flows south or
Yeah, everything is flowing south. It ends up going to the dirt road there where the asphalt stops, and it just continues there through natural sheet flow. And that's one of the reasons why we limited the sidewalk. So we're basically using the edge of the sidewalk and the road for conveyance to get that water off the road and off the property. But if we go with the sidewalk route, the water wants to take the route where it has the highest chance of infiltrating into the pavement section, and that's going to reduce the pavement life. So instead, we propose curb and gutter, and that way, the flow is through the concrete and not through the actual joint of the asphalt, and it'll help the road last a little bit longer.
Okay.
Move to approve item 9.
Got a motion, Mayor Villarreal.
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Escobedo. Everybody, any discussion on this? Any further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Raise your right hand to approve. Motion passes. Very good. Moving on to item number...
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 10 on the agenda, discussion, consideration, possible action authorizing the publishing of a public hearing notice and schedule a hearing for August the 9th, 2023, related to the RGC 4B EDC work plan projects for fiscal year 23 and 24, 2023-2024.
Yes, as you know, every year we come to the public with our work plan so that they can give us their input, and this is requesting your permission to publish and set a publish notice and set a hearing date for August 9th, right here at City Hall, where we will present the work plan for the next fiscal year. And with your permission, we'll go ahead and place this into...
Move to approve item 10.
Is there a motion?
I second.
Second by Commissioner De Leon. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Item 11, discussion, consideration, and possible action to recommend proposed resolution 2023-11. Ms. Guillen?
Yes. We are requesting your approval to submit this resolution to our city commission that outlines our projects through the EDC. This is a resolution that is required for the population of our city, but also our legal helped to draft it in a manner that allows us to bring that back to the city commission and amend as we're adding additional projects. So legal is here to answer any questions regarding that. We covered all of the projects that are currently pending, and as new projects come up, we will work through to add those to this resolution.
Move to approve item 11.
Got a motion, Mayor Villarreal.
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Escobedo. Everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Very good. Item 12, executive session, under Chapter 551, Texas Government Code 551.071. This time it is 6:13, and we'll go into executive session. 6:45, we're back from executive session. Item 13, reconvene into regular session and consideration of action matters discussed during executive session, including the following. Letter A, discussion of possible action regarding economic negotiations related to Prospect 2023-2 under Chapter 380 of the Texas Local Government Code. Do we have a motion on that item?
I move that we approve as discussed in executive.
Got a motion?
Second.
A second, everybody in agreement, signify by raising your right hand. Motion passes. No action on item B, no action on item C. Moving on to item 14, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion in a second.
I second.
Adjourn.
At this time, it is 6:46, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.